First of all, introducing our challenger.
Out of the blue corner.
He's going to step in and he does. It's all over.
Let's bring on the boom.
This is Eternal MMA.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Eternal Insiders Podcast. Joining us today, a man who has flown under the radar a little bit to really insert himself into the top conversations when talking about the flyweight division here in Australia. And I say that, but he started his career with an absolute bang, 3-0 in his first 3 professional fights with 3 submission wins in all 3 of those. Most recently, and probably most impressively of all, his most recent win at Eternal 90 over upcoming prospect Odin Musket when he submitted him in the last 30 seconds of the fight to earn himself Comeback of the Year honours in the process. And he looks to continue that momentum, rolling in this weekend in the co-main event slot at Eternal 97 against former champion Frank Jankowski as Eternal MMA makes its way back to Perth, Western Australia. We are talking to Igor MMA's own Joseph Larcinese. Good to have you here on the show, brother. It's fight week, man. What's the mood like for you and the team right now? We're rolling in hot.
It's pretty chill now. Like, all the work's been done. I mean, I take a light the week before this as well. So it's just on the decline, just trying to heal the body up from all that hard training and just getting in the more of like that simulation style of training at this point. So I'm excited, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course, man. It's good to have you here, brother. I wanted to have you on a while ago. I mean, if you've seen us talk about you on the podcast before,
I watched, I think I watched the post one and the one where you like hyped up the fight. Like we talked about it before. Yeah. From my last fight. That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a pretty good shout out from my co-host of those episodes, Matt Bones. Loved that finish, brother, at Eternal 90. That was some pretty solid stuff, man. So I've been keen to get you back on here for a minute. You talk about the lead up to this and ramping things down. Notice that you said that this camp has been probably your best one yet. Things seem to be going smooth. What's been the big difference in this camp compared to some of your other ones?
The big difference is, I think just the learning curve since my last camp. Going into our last camp, I was doing a camp with my brother at the same time. So it was a different dynamic for the first time we've ever had our camps, like running at the same time. And it was just around like the last 3 weeks that we started figuring stuff out for me, like really well. This is for my last fight. And then like since then, we've just carried on that same feel that we've gotten. You know, we've kind of learned how to get better. I've learned how to get better. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like a bit weird. And that's just what's been the big change. And we've focused on everything. I've had like a tough fight where I've been able to watch back the whole thing. And like, I mean, I've watched it back like so many times, man. It's been like 6 months since that fight. And like, what are you supposed to do? Just watch your last fight and watch tape on like other fighters. So we've just been studying so much and just implementing so much new style of training for me. So much even about fighting, but also about like nutrition, recovery, strength training, all that stuff. So I've had like a good 6 months just to train hard, not even like reset, just train hard from like straight away.
It's cool to hear, man. I mean, you mentioned that fight that you're watching back so many times. We mentioned at the top of the show, obviously, that huge comeback win over Odin Musket at Eternal 90. Yeah, 6 or 7 months on from that one here? Yeah. Getting back into the cage finally. Like, you just mentioned that you've watched it back so many times and that you're sort of leveling up and you're learning how to kind of better your game. But like when you sort of think back to that fight and in the kind of those moments and then ultimately what led up to that crazy finish, like what are your memories of that fight and sort of how it played out towards the end when you sunk in that choke? Because that was an incredible moment, one of the best moments of the year.
It felt really good. I mean, I remember when that fight ended, I don't remember what song it was, but it was a Flow Rider song. I don't know the name, but I just remember hearing that song and just, man, I was so hyped. It just felt so good. But if like when I watched that fight back, like I can literally pinpoint every single moment in it, like how I felt, like what was going through my head. And yeah, it was just what's good about one of those fights for like, especially for me, is like I talk like a big game and I believe in myself that I can like fight those tough fights. So it was good to just, I know it, but it was good just to see it. Like I can watch it back and see that I can get through a fight that's really tough. Do you know what I mean? So for me, that's like a big takeaway I've taken from it is now, it might sound weird, but I've got like a lot of confidence coming from that, like finishing that fight and how it played out and the type of guy I fought because I mean, like, everyone was ducking Odin. Like, let's be honest, that's just real talk. There's a lot of guys been ducking him. He's 1-0 now. He's 1-1, and I mean, he's a really good fighter. So the fact that I could come through that fight and like get a finish at the end, like that speaks volumes to my own confidence and how like tough I can be in a fight.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about that, and let's be fair, like a lot of the talk coming into that fight was about Odin, right? Because of what he'd sort of shown early in his career, what he'd shown in the amateurs, you know, the kind of the one-punch knockout power, flashy, he's got sort of the look and all that sort of thing. So, you know, you certainly flipped the script on it, man. And I mean, there was a couple of things there. I mean, for me, like it showed that you can win in like multiple ways. And I mean, we'll get to some of your, you know, how you go about your business in a second in terms of how you fight and where your sort of strengths are. But you show that you can win with your heart and your mind, like not just purely with the skill set against like a really tough prospect, you know, Odin Musket. And I mean, I had the best seat in the house room, man. You did it about 2 feet in front of me. I was sitting on the cage, man. It was just absolutely incredible scenes. I don't remember what the song was either, but it was certainly an electric moment. But I mean, you just talk about that and you reference how you can sort of dig down into those moments. Was this kind of maybe one of the first times that you discovered this about yourself, like that kind of that dog in you? Or did you know like all along that if you ended up in sort of a fight like this, that if you were essentially down in the count in the last seconds that you could pull it off? Like, was this kind of a realization moment for you in that regard?
No, that's always like been my character from when I was like being young, like a little kid. But like I said before, it was just like me being able to like see that I can do it. Like I know I can do it, but once you have to do it, like you're not sure if you can pull it off. Like you know what I mean? Like I know deep down that that's me, but I just need to see it for the first time. And I think everyone needs to see it, like my brother and stuff. Like my mentality, like leading into fights is pretty full on. Like I do a lot of like mental training, mental like preparation this week. So I'll start probably like the next couple of days, like really getting like deep for this next fight. And yeah, yeah.
You know what's wild to me is like I didn't realize this, but looking at some information on yourself, you have only, correct me if I'm wrong, you've only been training mixed martial arts for 3 years now. Is that correct?
Yeah,
like officially.
So MMA, yes, but
yeah.
I've done like hobby jiu-jitsu for like 2 to 3 years before COVID. But then I was hit with COVID when I wanted to join like an MMA gym. So me and my brother did all our training like at home in preparation to go into a gym.
So cool.
But when I joined the gym, I think it was only like 4 or 5 weeks. I was fighting in the cage. So I was there for 2 weeks, and then we got like a fight that was in 3 weeks. And I was like straight away. And like, man, I was not ready for that fight. But like, I think what got me through that fight is my ability to actually fight people and like my mental ability to make the right decisions, to push when I have to push. So yeah, it's only been like 3 years. And each fight I have is like, I'm like learning on the job, man. Like a lot of these other guys in the pro scene, man, they've been doing MMA properly since they're 18 and jiu-jitsu since they're like 16. So like, yeah, we've just been grinding, man, from the get-go. From the backyard. That's
a crazy story, man. And you hear some stories like that of people like, you know, yeah, grinding like someone shed in the backyard or like some random factory, just like a couple of guys. And it's the coolest shit, man. Like, I mean, look, everyone has their own journeys and everyone finds their own different path into combat sports, whether it's as a kid, you know, just with like karate or something like that, or whether you grow out of a sport and you want to turn to combat sports in general. But I mean, for the fact that you're doing like hobby Brazilian jiu-jitsu and then you go and start training officially and then like only weeks in, like you got your first fight. Like a lot of guys like don't have their first fight for like the first 12 plus months beyond and that sort of thing. So it's crazy. And I mean, it worked out well for you, man.
In that first fight, man, my body wasn't even conditioned to get hit. So after the fight, man, I felt so much pain and I was like, bro, I don't know if I can do this MMA thing if this is how the body feels. Like, but
because you're not even used to getting like hit at that stage, are you? Like, you're barely even sparring, yeah. Like,
I felt like I was like stuck in like a wheelchair or something after that fight. But then each fight as I've had, like, I'm like, okay, it's getting so much easier. Like, even my last fight, man, like I look like I got like bashed up and I must have been in so much pain. But my turnaround, my recovery, man, it was only like a week and I was like back to training. Obviously not contact, but like I was back to training.
It's crazy.
It makes a big difference.
Huge difference. No, you certainly, yeah, like just thinking back on the socials and that sort of thing and the way you turned it around and just what you endured sort of through that fight to come out the other side, which is wild. And yeah, like the journey itself sounds like crazy. Like just in general, before we, talk about the upcoming fight itself, which I'm excited to talk about, like what kind of got you into the combat sports scene? And I've asked that question for a couple of reasons I want to get to, but like you started off doing like hobby Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu before you actually started training, professionally and everything. But like what got you into combat sports, like in general?
It's weird for me, man. Like my whole life since I was a little kid, like I've always felt like a fighter, but I've always done the right thing because my parents always told me, you got to study, get a good job, go to university. But it was like when I started to get a bit older, a bit more like freedoms, and I started to think for myself, and I made that transition to jiu-jitsu. That's what kind of like pushed me a little bit more towards combat sports. But like the pivotal moment was during the COVID period, man. I remember the exact day I made the decision. There's a lot of things that was happening around like with politics in my career that I was studying at university. It was just like one day, man, I dropped like everything in my life and just went, we're going to commit 100%. Like my career is like done that I was like doing before that. Everything, I left my job and I just kind of like did what I always felt like I should do for the first time in my life. And I think that's why I've like progressed so fast in this sport, because I'm 100% committed. Like I took a step back from where all my friends are in life right now, just to focus on training.
Yeah, and that's why I asked, because I mean, you just reference, talking about studying and school and everything. The other thing that I just learned about you in that you have a bachelor's in pharmacy, man, and like your education, like through school, like again from what I read, like a ducks in mathematics in high school. Like this isn't the typical kind of sheet you would read on a mixed martial artist that he has those kind of qualifications and what sounds like a potential job and a career, but then turns to mixed martial arts. Like it's just such like a crazy duality. Like it's what is more admirable on top of that is that you're clearly like someone who is like very smart. And that's not meant to be like a knock on people who are mixed martial arts and aren't smart people or anything like that. Certainly not. But like to have that kind of career sort of lined up for you, but then choose like what is your passion, like that takes some incredible balls, man. Like that's wild. Like what has that journey been like from like academics to fighting? That's crazy.
I mean, it was a scary period, man. I don't want to get too much into it, but it was just all with COVID and how my career like aligned with everything. And you got to kind of, what you believe in, you got to kind of stick to. So that's kind of where I was put in a decision. And that's what kind of like just pushed me a little bit. It was just like a little nudge in the right direction where I knew where I wanted to go, but it didn't feel like the smartest thing to do. But now it's the greatest decision I've ever made so far in my life.
No doubt. Obviously, you train at Igor MMA. How pivotal of those guys at that gym, the team that you work with, your coaches and that sort of thing. Like how vital have they been to, affirming that choice and like helping you with like this incredible start to your career. I got no doubt, and seeing the relationship you kind of have with those guys, that kind of tight knit team, like they've been massive for you.
It's good. I mean, I feel like our gym's quite small, and like our vibe in the gym, especially the coaches, like Small Igor. We got Big Igor and Small Igor. Big Igor's more of like the macho, like tough guy, and he brings that good energy. But Small Igor, I can connect really well with him as like a MMA coach, because he's kind of more like he's like the thinker like me. He likes to think a lot. And I feel if I was in a gym that didn't have a coach like that, I'd struggle to be able to train and like fit in as much. So I mean, I got a good team, man. We're a small group. Like we don't have like all the training partners like some of these other bigger gyms, but we get the work in. I got my brother as well. He's a big part of all my training. Like we're doing everything together. Our relationship, our dynamic when we train is like if I'm doing something for him, like I'm the coach and he just listens completely. And when I'm in camp and he's like helping me with everything, I don't think I'm like the pro and I'm like smarter than him. He's the coach now, and just listen to everything he says. So I'm in a good position with my gym. Like, it's a really good gym.
Yeah, wild that Igor, not a very common name, but to have two Igors is like
two, yeah.
I'll hand on heart, I didn't actually realize that was like what was called like Igor's MMA. I actually only looked it up in the last few days. Like, oh man, shit, there's two of them. That's crazy. Like, but I mean, like just on that point of the gym too, you mentioned like it's only a small gym and it's a close knit team. It just goes to show you that so much of everything in terms of success, and I know you're in an early part of your career, but you've had a great start. It's so much more to do with fit than it is about the size of the gym and the facilities, and like a lot of training partners and resources are fantastic. But I mean, you look at a guy like Alexander Volkanovski at a small gym in Windang, like Freestyle, where it's pretty much just centered around him and sort of that success. Like it's so much about the culture and the fit, and it just seems like it's working out really well for you. Like, and it's a cool thing to see, man. Shifting sort of the tone there a little bit, and I don't want to get too hung up on this, but we talk about the nickname Big Sexy, and I mean, from everything I hear, this wasn't something that you wanted to adorn yourself with, but kind of got put on you. Can you clear it up? Is the Big Sexy nickname here to stay? What's going on? Is it something that you want to change up? Because the people want to know.
Let me tell you, this name,
Please.
I've tried my hardest to just not make it stick, not have it as my name. I was like, is this career like suicide for when I'm trying to get into the UFC? Like what's going on with this?
Hell no, Matt Bones ain't helping with that either, by the way, because he loves it. He's got a fun pun like every time your name comes up. So yeah, it's sticking around, I think, bro.
It blew my mind the second fight. I was listening to all the commentary. I'm like, I go to my brother, I'm like, what the hell is like this guy saying, man? Like this is so stupid. But man, the name came from my second amateur fight. Like we're waiting to go out to the fight, and I'm like trying to get all hyped up, like the right mental, super aggressive. And the guy at the curtain was saying, hey man, like the word of the day is sexy. You gotta go out there and look sexy for the cameras. I'm getting like a bit agitated and like pissed off. And my coach just starts going, let's go Big Sexy. Like, let's go Big Sexy. And I didn't know it at the time, but I think my brother was filming the whole like thing. Like I got it on my Instagram. I can like repost it. He filmed it. It got posted in like the gym's chat. So then, like, obviously everyone for the next 2 weeks called me Big Sexy all the time. I'm like, okay, cool. This is like going to disappear. Like they'll stop talking about it. Then like some people just keep the joke running for like a month, 2 months later. Then eventually my coach, I think, like I'm not too sure, but it has to be him. He edited my Tapology and like wrote Big Sexy on it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm obviously not going to make it official. So I left it. And then it was after my last amateur fight. Right as I was walking out, he went to the announcer and told him just to announce me as Big Sexy. And then from there, man, it's just been Big Sexy. But I don't know. Like I feel like fans like it and everyone likes it, but the fighters think I'm like a douchebag or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think like on that, like you're it's such like an early part of your career, but it's cool that you tell that story because like I think it's fantastic. And I don't think if anyone looks at it like, you've and the team have collectively like, I'm a sexy man, I want to be known as Big Sexy. There's a story here. And sometimes like the best fighter names just come from like a story. And that's what the story is just that like, yeah, as you said, like someone's telling you like look sexy and then someone's run with it and it's just become a thing. It's become like an ironic nickname, like calling like a big fat dude like Lil Jon or something, like when he's clearly like a huge man. Like it's just like a fun thing to like kind of stick. No, I think it's fantastic.
I know, that's why I just ran with it. But yeah, I mean, you don't choose those names, bro. You don't choose those types of names.
Yeah, I mean, look, some people do, but it's I don't know. I love it, man, and I hope it's here to stay because I think it's becoming sort of part of the character, and it's just like kind of a weird yin yang thing with your career and like your intensity in the cage. It's just like this fun kind of little twist on it. But
it throws everyone off.
That's it, man. That's why I love it. We've got big things to talk about. Obviously, we're going in, taking a lot of momentum from the way you started your career into Eternal 97 this weekend. Like we said, taking on the former flyweight champion Frank Jankowski over in Perth, man. It's another road game for you. Actually, I'm not mistaken, your first 3 fights have all been in a different state. I think you started in Sydney, and then we went to Queensland, and now you're going over to Perth. Sorry, you went to
Sydney,
Queensland, and now we're going to Perth. So 3 states it'll be in your first 4 fights. We know Frank, is a massive popular cat over there in Perth, former champion, like we said. Stranger to playing, the upset guy in terms of spoiling the hometown crowd's fun. Your thoughts on this matchup with Frank, man? Because this is high level stuff. I'm very much looking forward to this one. Co-main event slot is very cool. Your thoughts?
Yeah, we got moved to the co-main event, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, I even chucked in there. I was telling Cam, I was like, hey, if you need an interim, we can make this interim. I can do 5 rounds if he wants. We can like try save the card. I was down for it.
Yeah.
But I think they had different plans, so we'll see what happens after this fight. But I mean, Frank's amateur fights, I think the guy's amateur fights, he has like double or just as much as my whole career. And then his pro fights, he has the exact same as my whole career, like amateur and pro. So, I mean, this guy's like a seasoned, like he's got a lot of experience on his hand. I'm not taking him like lightly, but I think I think I know as well that I'm just going to just put a dominant performance this time. And yeah. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry there. So now I'm blanking. Yeah, sorry.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the fight. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at a couple of guys like you and you take a look at your records. We know plenty about you in terms of how you started your career. 3 submission wins, which is incredible. I don't know too many guys that I've looked around and seen them start their pro career with 3 submission wins on the trot. I know it happens, but it's extremely rare. So hats off to you. And you look at a guy like Frank, like you guys are different in terms of your styles, but I mean, you've kind of got similar attributes in terms of very clean, like you got effective striking. You're very much a submission threat. He's got submissions on his record. He's been submitted as well there too. Now, when we talk about matchups like this with a couple of guys that are very dangerous on the ground, clear submission threats, a lot of the times the fight ends up playing out a lot on the feet. You know what I mean? Like when you sort of think about this fight and given that you guys are both very capable, especially you, of snatching a neck and ending the fight like that, do you think it kind of on paper starts looking like this is a fight that plays out more on the feet? Like what do you sort of envision when you think about how the fight plays out?
Honestly, like I think the fight will actually go everywhere. I think he will try to grapple and he will try to strike. And like I'm going to do everything. I'm not going to restrict myself to an MMA fight. I think that's just stupid. I can tell you what Jankowski's going to do. He's going to come out. He's going to look to kick my leg, calf kick me probably, throw knees and teeps up the middle and everything. Look for that, like those counters on the back foot. Maybe even switch stances a bit. And every time I come in, he's probably going to like dip down and try to like shoot on me, disrupt my rhythm. So even though we're both grapplers, I think it's just going to be a bit of everything. I don't think it's going to be those classical like the 2 wrestler grappler guys to stand up for 3 rounds. But you know, I don't mind. We can do whatever. I'm like prepared for if it's on the ground or on the feet.
I mean, look, yeah, we know that Frank certainly likes to shoot, but I mean, we've seen what you can do when someone, you know, kind of puts their head generally in your vicinity. I mean, you know, snatched up like standing kind of guillotine chokes and that sort of thing. So Frank's going to be pulling that on you, man. I mean, that's a dangerous prospect for him. But I mean, look, everything in terms of how this fight reads on paper, it's just certainly something that we can sink our teeth into and sort of really get excited. And like, just for people that are kind of getting to know you and your style, like, what do sort of fans need to know about you that they haven't already seen? Like, is it easy to kind of, for people to look at your record and look at your finishes and sort of label you as kind of like a submission threat? You know what I mean? Because like, look, we've seen flashes of your power and we think back to Eternal 84, right? Like against Zach Gregson before you ultimately submitted him. You dropped him with like, you know, a couple of clean left hands, man. Like there's some power there. Like there's definitely some flash. As far as like the sort of the striking game, do you think that's a bit of an underrated part of your game right now that people don't quite know is really there to complement that submission skill set?
I think like my whole fighting style is very unknown at the moment, and like I'm not even trying to show it. Like I'm glad like it's unknown. It makes people not sure what I'm going to bring to the table. But I mean, if you just look at my fights, any sort of neck position, boom, I'll take that. Last amateur fight, like 17-second knockout. Second pro fight, like 1 punch drop again. So like people should know if they. I think Frank studied. He watched all the tape. Like he'll know. He'll know if he tries to stand there in the center and bully me back. Like I got power to finish the fight like straight away. And I might not look like it because I might be like small looking, but I've been doing a lot of training before I joined Igor MMA. In terms of like weightlifting. So yeah, I mean, I'm prepared, man. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a really good fight. There's a reason why this is co-main event now.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'm glad it is.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, wherever you put this fight on the card, I mean, you could have this as like the opening part of like the main card. You could have it as potential main event, whether it's a title on the line or not. I mean, I think this is very much like near into your future, right? And I want to talk a little bit of that before I let you go, but you know, one thing that I'm certainly keen to see outside of the fight for this, because you've been asking for it, man. We need to get this Blake Richardson style Rod Costa intro. Like, can we get that? Like, is that surely? I mean, I know Blake likes to build to it. Like, as the fights progress at the card, it's a co-main event slot. Surely we're getting this intro now, man. Like, got to stop calling for it. I think it's gonna happen.
I told him I want to earn it, so I don't want to force it.
I think you've earned it, brother.
And now, if he wants it for a title fight, then I'll wait for the title fight. But I'm not gonna tell him, hey Blake, like give me that intro. I'm gonna earn it. Don't worry, I will earn it.
I don't know.
He'll know. He'll get the feeling when he has to say it.
I mean, look, as far as earning, look, if it doesn't happen at this one, and I sure hope it does, because I mean, it's up the card, it's high stakes, it's against a former champion. It's in Perth. Perth is the place to be in terms of the fights these days, man. Like, there's just so many cool things and cool elements about this fight. And you talk about former champions, like, and as far as what this card was, we obviously had the former champion Anthony Drillich versus Shane Parker, who was meant to be at the top of this card for that interim championship, and Anthony unfortunately had to pull out because of an apparent injury, I believe. That leaves you and Frank as the featured flyweight bout for this card, of course. Now, I know you're not looking past Frank or anything like that, but I'm sure in the back of your mind, you've got to be looking at this fight as a way to kind of like formally insert yourself as one of the next players, or like the player in some kind of title fight in the future. You'd be 4-0. Potentially you'd have 4 finishes to start your career. Like, this has got to be something where you're looking at it like, what's coming next for me is like, really kind of the top dogs and some kind of title shot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say before when I had the mental blank. It was Frank's last fight. Like, I've watched it. Like, I'm pretty much fighting the current champion. That was a really close split decision. Arguably, he could still be the champion right now, depending how you score that fight. I know how I scored that fight, but this guy, in my opinion, is the current champion right now. So we've got like a weird, like people's champ fight, maybe. And afterwards, like I'll put on a performance, I'll call for my title shot, and I should get it. I should get it. Like, I'm the most active, biggest win streak right now in the flyweight division. And, we need some new guys getting shots to the belt, Flyweight division's been a bit weird for the last 3 years. Do you know what I mean? So it'll be good to see some new fights for that belt.
It certainly has been, but it's starting to shape up with just some interesting, prospects, some interesting characters kind of coming through. And again, like, you've put yourself kind of right at the forefront of this in a big time fight. Like, you've already made so many statements already in the first part of your career. Like we said, starting 3-0, 3 submission wins. You get the comeback fight of the year for 2024 with a spectacular performance, snatching necks left, right, and center. Like, just doing big time work. I mean, you talk about earning a spot. You've certainly earned that spot. Like, coming into this one, man, going up against a former champion. Last question for you. Like, do you feel like this is the kind of fight that you have to kind of make another statement? I don't know if you have any official predictions for the fight or anything like that, but, like we said, a win firmly puts you in conversation for a shot at flyweight silverware. Another big finish makes you undeniable, man. Like, is there something in your mind that you're cooking up in terms of how you'd like to get the job done at Eternal 97?
All I can say is that this fight will not go decision, win or lose for me. That's just how I am. It's going to be on the feet finish, or I'll take a neck if he gives me a neck.
I like it, man. Well, we got a lot to look forward to, man. Like we said, Perth is absolutely the place to be for the fights these days. It's only, time of recording, it's only 5 short days away at the Perth HPC. It's going to be Frank Jankowski taking on Joseph Larcinese in that flyweight fight that we're absolutely looking forward to. Cannot wait for it. Appreciate your time here today, brother. First time on the show. Looking forward to talking to you again in the future, man. Big things in your future, no doubt, as a fighter. And let's see how it all goes down. HPC, 28th of June. Get your tickets at eternalmma.com or live and exclusive on UFC Fight Pass, baby. Let's go. Thank you for your time, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Great. Thanks, Luke, man. Appreciate it.